chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha peke yake.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings or anything?
Unakuta watu.
We'll be talking about change today, like I said before.
Hapa ni Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Ndio kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
To Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha peke yake.
Hello, welcome to Revival TV. My name is Esporazi here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are excited to be in your living room, in your basement, or wherever you are, on your phone, on your device. You can follow us through Facebook, also, and on YouTube, also on there. Today, I'm excited. I'm very, very, very excited. Guys, I have some special guests. You know, a lot of people have come here to Revival TV. They've just been normal people, as usual. But today is something different. We have the high officials, I would like to call them. They are from the police department. I know, no, Revival TV is not here getting arrested, no. But we are here to try to build connection, communication with the people that we have here at Revival TV. So I really am excited because it's been a long time for this coming. But for now, I want us to introduce the chief police officers. I'll let them introduce themselves. I would introduce them, but hey, this is Revival TV. So please welcome to me, and let's introduce my friends here, chief police officers. Please, I'll start with you, Chief. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having us here, Espoir. And I am Eric Winstrom, Chief of the Grand Rapids Police Department.
Eric, okay.
Yeah.
And my name is Jana Forner. I'm a captain at the Grand Rapids Police Department.
Captain. All right. Jambo wa ndugu yangu, hapa tuko kwa Revival TV. Napenda niambie kama hapa tuko na kipindi mzuri sana. Tuko na police officer wenye viko juu sana. Na leo tuko na chief wetu hapa wawili, bataongea mambo mbili tatu tuko na Brandon, Chief Brandon hapa, na tuko na dada yetu hapa mwenye kwa hapa mwenye atatupatia maneno za mbili hapa yeye hapa mzuri sana. Majina yao ningali niko na kamata mzuri, so subiriani nikiendelea kuongea, unajua kama hii ni kitu kia mpya. So nikiendelea kuongea nabo ndio kila kitu kitakuwa sawa. Akili yangu hapa ingaliki juu sana hapa. Kwa hiyo tutaingia maswali ninapenda tuwaulize. Nashukuru sana. I want to say thank you for you guys coming here. I honestly, for taking this morning, for you coming out of your day to be here is really, really awesome. My microphone is actually making a little bit noise. Oh, okay. So, I like for you guys to be here. It's been an honor honestly. I want to start asking you guys, how long have you guys been in this business as being a police officer?
For me, it's been 25 years. I was the police officer in the city of Chicago for over 21 years, and then I've been here in Grand Rapids a little over 3 years.
Wow, a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
All right, so you're kind of still brand new.
Still, yeah, newer than most people I run into here. Yeah.
And
And I've been with the Grand Rapids Police Department for 25 years.
Wow.
I started as a police intern at the police department and then have worked my way up through the last 25 years to now I'm a captain.
wow, this is amazing. So we got 25 years,
25. Yeah.
and then we also got 25 years.
Yes.
That is incredible. If you put that together, that's 40 years basically, right? Am I right?
Even more. Yeah.
Even more.
Yeah.
Around there. Wow, this is incredible. Tell me about your normal today. How does that look like? Why did you want to be a police officer? Why police officer? And or any other career, T. Brandon, like why did you choose this job? Because a lot of people, when we hear police officer, it's more of like, oh boy, like, oh we have to be scared of you guys. And like, did you dream this when you were a kid? Was this something that you wanted to do as a kid?
For me, it wasn't something that I wanted to do as a kid. I made this decision when I was already an adult. I was probably 24, 25 when I decided to be a police officer. But I had a whole string of jobs before that I just felt wasn't a good fit for me. Some jobs that I enjoyed, and one of them, I like to tell the story, I was a house painter, and hard work, and very rewarding because at the end of the day you can look and see physically what you've done for the day, and it's a good feeling. And I was looking for a profession that I could magnify that, and for me police work is the best opportunity with my skill set and how my brain works to do a full day's worth of work and look at what I've done and feel that I did something wonderful, something positive for the community. It's a wonderful feeling. It's the most rewarding profession that I could ever think of. So I feel very blessed to do it.
When you say it's most rewarding, in what way is it most rewarding? Because what we see on the TV and what people say about police officers, there is a black and white kind of type. You guys are the inside. Why is it most rewarding?
You raise a very valid point with TV, and that's something I'd say anyone that has a TV kind of thinks they have a pretty good idea of what it is to be a police officer. But a lot of times you think of police officers as a lot of people, their interaction is on a traffic stop, and they think the police are out there, pulling people over for stop signs. But policing is so much more than that, and I would say the most rewarding experience that I had being a police officer was I was a sergeant in the city of Chicago for the child sex crimes unit, and spent all my day investigating sex crimes against children as young as toddlers, and putting individuals who are victimizing these innocent young kids in jail and in prison, taking them off the street. Was just such a rewarding experience. And that's the sort of thing that when you think of a police officer, you really think a traffic stop or what you see on TV. But there's so much more. There's everything we do with kids is, for me, it's a focus on the victims of crimes. And then so much of our day at this level is trying to find opportunities like this. So we're very thankful to be able to be here sitting with you and be able to make this connection. This is huge for us, and if I could spend all my days doing this, I would do that too. Yeah.
How about you, Marlene? Why go into the police force? What something happened that encouraged you to do this? Like, what was it?
I didn't grow up wanting to be a police officer either, but I loved investigations. Mm-hmm. So in college, when I became a police intern, I was working at Grand Rapids Police Department and just couldn't imagine being or doing anything else. So my career path led me to investigations. I like I enjoy being on patrol and hearing the beginning of someone's day or the reason that they called us to come to their house. But then I like to see how it ends too. So on patrol, you go a lot of times to someone's worst day, right? So they're calling you for a reason for help. So you go there and you can help in the immediate minute when you're there, but then being able to see a case through to the end. So whether it's larcenies or car thefts or domestic violence, child abuse, I've been blessed to work all of those different crimes throughout my career. Both as a detective, as a sergeant, as a lieutenant. So investigation is my passion. And sort of like the the chief, I was assigned at the Children's Advocacy Center here in Grand Rapids or in Kent County. And those were probably some of my most rewarding times as an investigator, helping children who don't have another voice potentially be their voice, and being able to put the bad people to them in jail.
Can you give me like your actually let's say this. How's your day to day? Talk about your mornings. You wake up, you put you on your uniform, you automatically like what goes on throughout the morning for you to be okay, you got your people are calling you, 911 calls. Does it automatically goes to you guys when people call 911, or does it go through our branch, or what happens? Because I'm always surprised when someone calls 911, it goes to 911, this is your emergency, how can I help you? Like, does it connect straight to you guys? How does that happen?
And you know what, Esbar, you're invited to come for a tour of the police station. On the 4th floor of our police station, we have a 911 center. And if you call 911, obviously the phone call goes there. We have a great group of emergency communications operator dedicated. It's a very stressful job to pick up that phone and answer it, even though they're not going out onto the scene. It's still to answer a 911 phone and just have somebody screaming in terror and telling you, all these terrible things. It's difficult for them to be able to maintain their composure and their calm. They do a fantastic job. So that call comes in, and I think 25 years ago, what would happen is the call taker would write down information about the address or whatever they could, and then get on the radio and call for a police officer to go out there. Now, if you come take a look at the dispatch center, it's all computerized. We have GPS to locate where the nearest police car is. We have GPS for all our firefighting equipment. They can, in real time, while the dispatcher is still on the phone with the 911 caller, they can be dispatched and they can send the messages out to the call. So literally, police officers can be responding to an emergency while the individual is still on the phone describing what's going on in the emergency. So you can also text 911. Sometimes people are in a situation where they're hiding in a room. They think there's a intruder in the house, or they're hiding from a specific individual. They don't want them to know they're calling 911. So you can now text 911 too. So very efficient, very, very quick response, but that's how our 911 system works. And like I said, you're invited to come check it out anytime you want.
Yes. Revival TV, this is amazing. Just learn about the little peek about their life and how long they've started this this career. If you're ever interested in getting into police economy or being part of the police department, I think there is a program. I know there is a program that I saw, because I also looked into it, where there was a point where I actually wanted to be a police officer. But it came a point where I saw you got to get tasered. Is that true?
You don't have to get tasered.
Most people do.
Most people do. It's a choice.
Now let's explain that, because the person that I was talking to, there was one time I got invited to police training, and they were like, "Well, before you say yes, we're gonna invite you to just go out there and look at the police training." I went up there, and there was this big giant glass, and the people on the other side, they were like holding them, and they're like tasering them, and I look at the guy who was like doing the end, like interviewing me and like showing me around, and like, "You see that right there? Those are real heroes right there." I'm like, "Yeah, getting tasered, yeah, right. Yeah, the man just fall down on the ground. Like, why?" And he's like, No, we don't do it that hard. Like, you barely. I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah, you feel it.
You feel it. So tell me about that also, because I have people in my community. They are thinking about going into policing. Some of them have asked me, "Do you need to have a career? Do you need to have a GED? What qualifications do I need to have?" Because there are people even in African community, they love being a police officer. But one of the biggest barrier is the language. They don't know the language, but they love protecting their own stuff like that. Talk to me about that. Where how can a person who wants to be part of the police officer can feel comfortable? What initiative have you guys put in place for that person to be there?
You want to talk about the process a little?
You can go ahead.
All right, I'll tell you. Recruiting is huge for us. It's been our biggest challenge since I started. We are growing. Grand Rapids is growing as a city, which means we're growing as a police department as well. And we want individuals who reflect the community. We want the diversity of how people look. We want the diversity of how people think. We want people with different life experiences. So we want to be open and seen as open to everybody. We want to be a desirable police department for everybody. So what you need a high school education or GED. You need to be 19 years old. You need to be physically fit. There are state mandates for physical requirements that you need to be able to do, as for example running and push-ups and sit-ups and things like that. They're not so extreme. You don't have to be an Ironman or an Olympian to get there, but you do have to be physically fit. And then you have to be you have to have a good character. And what that means is that if you just got out of prison and you're applying to be a police officer, you're most likely going to get rejected, depending on what the story is. We have had police officers that have been arrested. As long as you can go explain that, and as a whole, we can see that your character is good, you'll be eligible for hire. And that's one of the things that I often say is we don't hire people because they know the most about policing or they know the most about laws or that they're really good at marksmanship or defensive tactics. We hire people for their character. We can train everything else, but you can't train somebody to be a good person. So we look for good people, and that's who we're seeking to hire. So I hope if anybody's in the Grand Rapids area or wants to come to the Grand Rapids area that is seeing this, they check out our website, which is joingrpd.com. Has a lot of information on it and connection with a recruiter. And even if people maybe are on the fence thinking maybe this is for them and maybe not, if they're able to do a ride along and actually sit in a police car with one of our officers for 6, 10, 12 hours and make that determination to see what they're getting in for.
Wait, so you're saying that if someone wants to join and they have you guys can join them to sit in a police officer and ride along with them?
That's right. We want people to know what they're getting into. We don't want someone to show up their first day at work after having gone through the police academy and all the effort, and we buy a uniform for them and then show up and say, this isn't for me. So we've hired police recruits that have done as many as 10, 15, even 25 ride-alongs. So they really know what they're getting into. Yeah, so we strongly encourage that.
Now, talk about the economy, the police. What is it called again?
Police Academy.
The academy.
Yes.
Is this something that a person has to pay to get into it, or is it based through when you guys see their hiring, they start?
Well, there's two different ways in the state of Michigan the police academy works. And number one is you actually can pay for yourself to go through. They're based in colleges across the state. There's a police academy at Grand Valley State University close by in Allendale. There's a police academy at Grand Rapids Community College. And individuals do pay to put themselves through the academy, and then they're very marketable for the police departments. Grand Rapids has for years been a special department that we seek to sponsor individuals. So we're looking for the best, and they don't have to already have gone through the academy. We will not only pay for that academy for them, what's called a sponsor, we'll pay them while they're at the academy. So really we'll pay them to be an employee for us and to go to school full time. So it's an opportunity that not all police departments offer. We've been doing it for many years before I got there. I assume maybe that's how Captain Forner got. Were you sponsored?
I was.
Yeah. So it's a positive. And what it does for us, it gives us the opportunity to hire individuals that maybe economically they just can't justify taking 4 or 5 months out of their life, make no money, and pay money to go to school. This gives individuals a job, and we're going to pay for the academy.
All right, this is good. Now we're about to get into serious questions. we've heard how you can get into the police academy, how how many years they've been here. Now we're about to go into that community questions. There are some questions that we as community, Bible TV, bring in your questions. We got some questions to ask them. I have questions to ask them. I wanted to do this little thing a little bit different. I know you guys are buzzing with questions. I'm already getting questions up here like crazy. So this is good. I like this. So the first thing I want to know about the Grand Rapids community, a lot of people are Africans, especially those who are immigrants here. Talk to me about how do you guys respond when it comes to people who don't know how to speak over by a police officer. Some people have said that police officers they're not being fair. They're pulling me over with trying to understand. I can't explain it to them. What happens when a person is getting pulled over? Someone who doesn't know how to speak English. Tell me the process in that and how the fairness comes.
And I want to answer a little bit of the fairness at the beginning, and that is so much has changed in our profession since Jane and I have been police officers. One of the great positive changes is the body-worn cameras that all of our police officers wear. So even when we get a phone call or an email saying that I believe I was treated unfairly, we're able to look at that video and say, is there something we can do differently? Is there something we can do better? So we only employ humans. We know we're going to make mistakes, and we're always looking to get better. Every incident, good or bad, is an opportunity for us to get better. So I'm not going to say we're a perfect police department, but we certainly strive to be perfect and always getting better. So how it works on the day-to-day basis, if Jane and I were partners and we both only speak English and we make a traffic stop and an individual speaks a different language, there's a couple options we have. The first one, the easiest would be if there's another police officer nearby that we can contact on the radio that speaks the same language that can come. That often happens with the Spanish language. In Chicago, where I was from, that would happen oftentimes with different Chinese dialects and Polish as well. And Russian were all languages that were commonly spoken, and we employed police officers that had that. So one of the things we have done recently is made a salary bump for our police officers who are bilingual. We will pay a little more money for them to work for us to encourage individuals who do speak other languages to come to the Grand Rapids Police Department. Having said that, we know, I've made a lot of friends in the Congolese community over the past 3 years I've been here. There are individuals which speak French, Swahili, Kinyarwanda. There's so many dialects, and that's just Congo. Think about I have Pakistani friends that speak Arabic, Urdu. When you start having those conversations, you realize can we possibly be in a situation where we can always have a human there? And we recognize that's not the case. So all of our officers now on patrol, as a backup, we have a contract with a company. It's called Language Line, that they can actually go on their phone 24/7 and contact a live human being that can translate for them as they speak. So it's not a perfect system, but it's what we have so far. And certainly what you said about fairness, we strive to be fair. We absolutely, that's vital for us to maintain trust. And it's required of us. We have to do our job in a way that treats everyone equally. So anytime there is a complaint that, hey, I think I was treated unequally, we certainly want to hear about it.
I want to ask this question to you. There racism in, because what we see on TV, a lot of people, especially with the African community, always picking on the black, always doing this. What do you say to give those African communities? We're not here to look at your face. What would you say to those people?
I don't know any police officer in our department that is racist. I think that's a very biased way to look at people. And I'm not saying I'm not I'm not ignorant to the fact that that is true in places, but I don't know any of our officers that are racist. And I don't think that anyone makes a traffic stop or makes a contact with someone based on the color of their skin. They're looking for criminal activity. They're looking for just to make contacts with people in the community, to introduce themselves. You know, as we look to meet people of different cultures and backgrounds, we're looking to do that so that we can understand as well. And I'm assuming that some questions may come across as uncomfortable because they don't know your culture or they don't know a culture of another ethnicity. But I don't think that anyone that I work with is racist.
Has there ever? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to add on. I mean, this is something that it's a difficult conversation, but it's so important to have conversations about race. And from the city of Grand Rapids perspective, if you think of Grand Rapids population-wise, about 200,000 people, and it's 55, maybe 60% Caucasian, white, and less than 20% African American. And yet in 2023 and 2024 together, we had 37 murders. Of those 37 murders, 34 were African American, 0 were white. We had 0 white people murdered in those 2 years. So if you think about it, so much of our violent crime is centered on the southeast side of town in our African American community. And of course, our focus is on the victims. And so we interact so much at a much higher percentage with our brothers and sisters in the African American community, just because that's where the violent crime is. And because of that, if you think about the interactions with police, as Jana mentioned, we often interact with people on their worst day. There are so many opportunities for those interactions in the African American community. And even if we have 99 great positive community interactions, we're judged by our losses, not our wins. That one negative interaction that we had, it gets broadcast. And so I think that is part of the reason that all this is generated of a perception of police are racist. And we recognize we're not the answer for all of the root causes of crime, but our focus is on the victims. And we want to make sure that there's not, that no matter where you live, I live in the city of Grand Rapids on the northeast side of town. I have 2 kids, 11 and 13, and I want every kid in Grand Rapids to be just as safe as my 11 and 13-year-old on the northeast side. It should, regardless of what you look like or where you live, we want you to be as safe as possible. But the fact is that the crime is elevated in the African American neighborhoods, and so that's where we spend a lot more of our time.
Now, the reason why I asked this question, I want to
Patrick Leoya.
And the way the people have many assumptions on how that case went. Some people said the police officer was out wrong. Some people said Patrick Leoya was out wrong. Was it more towards, would you say, towards the language barrier? Because if we look, people have said, if we look at the video, the police officer is asking, where's your ID? Show me your ID. And Patrick Leoya, he's confused. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Was it more towards, because if the person is getting pulled over, he probably had a crime or history of something on his case and everything, is getting pulled over. Was it more of the language barrier that went on there, or what was it that made that police officer to stop him? That it went viral and they ended up killing him.
The timing of your question is excellent because so Patrick was killed on April 4th, 2022.
Yes.
And Christopher Schur is the name of the police officer that made that traffic stop. And that Christopher Schur subsequently was charged with second-degree murder.
Yeah.
And his trial actually starts April 28th of this month.
Yeah.
So it's been a very difficult journey, most difficult for Peter and Patrick's family because they lost their son. I know it's been difficult for former police officer Christopher Schur as well. You could see 2 families that were just that were torn apart by it. Yeah, but certainly we recognize that human life is the most important thing to talk about. So I have a lot of respect for Peter and his wife and his family. They've been to the police station. I can't imagine losing a son. So for me, that just supporting them is the most important thing. But there is a trial coming up, and one of the things that I think, when you lose a child in such a way, there's never going to be closure. But I think what I am most hopeful for that this trial brings is answers, because answers will bring at least some amount of healing for everybody involved. And so those questions that you have, like I know, we didn't do the investigation of that case. It was Michigan State Police, and so much information I'm sure will come out during the week or 2 weeks, however long the trial is. And I think that's probably information that we'll hear about. But because it's not our case and because it's going to trial, we're Captain Forner and I will be just as interested in everyone else to look and to get as many answers as we can.
Into that.
Yeah.
I know you guys can't answer this, and about the case and everything. Can you at least tell us? Do you know what is going to be expected? Are they chosen the juries, and who's going to be on?
So so I know they're being very intentional to make sure that this is a smooth process. I know that the judge has been, with the case for long enough that she knows that it's going to have a lot of attention from the media, from the community, and so they want to make sure that it's conducted efficiently and on time. So I think they've scheduled a whole week to choose a jury. So that'll come the week of the 21st, and then the trial should start the week of the 28th.
How would the police officer deal with protesters? That's the biggest thing that also people, either he's convicted or he's not convicted. What are you measures that you guys putting out there to make sure they protest peacefully and not chaotic and doing things they're not supposed to be doing?
Yeah, and we've had a lot of protests since I've been here. If you think about I've been here a little over 3 years, and when we released the video of that incident, we had probably 8 very large protests. But the police department has had practice or has conducted operations regarding protests for years. So it wasn't anything that I had to teach anybody. Very efficient. And what I tell the men and women in the police department is treat every protest like it's a pro-police protest. Treat every protest like you love everything that everyone's saying, and that's helpful because we get protests on one side of an issue, and then the next day we'll have protests on another side of the issue, and our job is to blindly treat every protest the same. And what our job is to try and facilitate individuals' First Amendment rights. So we embrace the First Amendment right, the right to assemble, the right to speak, and we're going to make sure that individuals can do that safely. Having said that, sometimes protests get to the point where individuals begin committing crimes, and we will certainly address that. Historically, what you have is individuals that would purposely violate unjust laws. If you think back to the Greensboro counter-protests or Rosa Parks, for example. Rosa Parks was violating the law of sitting in the wrong seat in the bus on purpose because that was an unjust law. And I deeply respectful of that. The most respect to violate an unjust law. Sometimes what we see in protests is individuals who are violating a just law. For example, you can't lie down in a highway, or you can't block the entrance to a hospital as part of their protests. And when that comes about, recognize that they might have the most righteous cause in the world and the most passion for this cause, but we treat everything, no matter what the message is, we're going to treat it all equally. So when it comes to something unsafe like that, we're going to take police action. But how we do it here, we're very tolerant. So if it's a violation of, say, a traffic ordinance where people are blocking traffic, we always give warnings. We let people know if this behavior continues, we're going to arrest you before we take enforcement action. And we've been doing that for the 3+ years since I've been here. I think the department's handled them similarly prior. I haven't witnessed it, but in my time in the Chicago Police Department, I actually was the legal supervisor over 100+ protests. So lots and lots of experience, and I think we're just looking forward to facilitating everyone's First Amendment rights, whatever the message is.
Wow, that's incredible. That's very, very incredible. I like how you explain it, that because
protest is something that you guys gonna be really, really big on that day. And a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going to happen. Just like what happened in Minneapolis when the gentleman got killed by a police officer. I forgot his name, but
George Floyd.
George Floyd,
Yeah.
when he got killed, a lot of things happened, and now the trial went on and everything. Now this is happening here in our community. Now we're about to get into that trial for this police officer. I feel sorry for his family. Our heart goes to them, but now what is going to happen between this right here is going to be very, very interesting in that area. We do have some questions from the community. Is one of the community is asked this question is like, how does the police department or the police officers determine the price to give me when I get a ticket? Where do they get that amount? If I'm stopped at the red light or if I'm speeding, they write a ticket of $100 and usually when I go to court, it's $100 and something. Where did that number come from? Who came up with these rules?
I think Jana makes them up. No, I'm just kidding. Jana will answer them.
The police department has nothing to do with the price of a ticket.
Yeah.
The court system creates the prices for whatever the charges on the ticket. We write the ticket for whatever law was violated, but then the court sets the prices. We have nothing to do with that.
Really?
Correct.
Oh, so you guys just write the ticket, and the person has to go to the court,
Correct.
and then they have to go pay over there.
Yes.
Now let's say that if a person is, let's say he's here in Michigan, got a ticket here in Michigan, and then the person lives in a different state, and he lives over there, but he doesn't live here in Michigan. Yes, there's a way you can pay online, but he says there's set a court date for him. What if he can't make it to that court date? If he misses?
I've actually had the exact thing. I was in school and I had got a ticket in New York, and they gave me a court date, and I wanted to go, but because I didn't live in New York, so on the ticket it actually had a contact number for the court clerk, and I called, and I'm sure it's the same across the country. If you call and say, hey, I'm traveling this day, or I don't live there, I'll need to come in, they will reschedule to accommodate you. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, this is Revival TV. We'll take a 1-minute break and we'll come finish up. There's some few little questions that we have. This is Revival TV. I thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings then?
Sasa mazishi unakuta watu.
Are we talking about change today? Like I said before.
Hapa ni Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Ndio kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
To Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha peke yake.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings then?
Sasa mazishi unakuta watu.
Are we talking about change today? Like I said before.
Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Endelee kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
To Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha peke yake.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
You guys do.
Hello, Revival TV. We're back to our program today. I've had a good time to spend time with our chief police officers. They've answered some really tough questions. If you have questions that you have for our police officers, please write them down, and we will definitely invite them back to come here to Revival TV. This is not going to be the end. We want them to come back. We want them to bring other people here. Maybe they can make this as rule number 1. You have to go to Revival TV to go get interviewed before you get the job. I mean, we can do something like that. I'm excited to have you guys here. It's been a joy. I've learned a lot with Revival TV. Tell me, are you guys married, or are you guys like? Do you guys have families here, or is it like how is it like? How about?
I am married to my husband, John. He retired from the Michigan State Police.
Okay.
On our 18th wedding anniversary is on Monday.
Wow, 18. All right.
Yeah, not that police officers only marry police officers, but I've been married for 14 years to my wife Rachel, who was a police officer with me in Chicago. So
seems like they like to stay in the group.
Well, we work weird schedules, and we bring home traumas and difficulties that not everyone understands. So I think we sort of gravitate to each other. So there's a lot of police officer couples on the police department.
Let's talk about mental health when it comes to community here in Grand Rapids, especially those who are refugees. You guys probably meet a lot of kids who are different background and families and stuff like that, especially with the ones who come from different countries. Can you explain what programs are out there that police officers do have, or the police department do have, to help people with mental problems and stuff like that? I remember when I went to, there was a meeting that we went, me and Jen. I was I think it was like last month, and we met with different type of organization that work with the police officers with far as like if people are homeless, if people are mentally or anything, they were there to help them. Can you share those little things that police officers are involved in and that they do help or sponsor?
Sure. Yeah, and you mentioned the refugee community. In my time here, I've met and heard the stories of so many individuals who are refugees, who have settled here, and the stories. I talk about the trauma that we go through as police officers, but just incomprehensible is the stories of overcoming difficulties, challenges, traumatic experiences before landing here. It's just unfathomable, and I wish those stories were told more so that other people can hear them. It's just, I've been so impressed and impacted by those stories. But I know that those experiences, it's not that you just arrive in Grand Rapids and now everything's fine, mentally. I know that there's a lot of strange people handle traumatic experiences in different ways, and so there are a lot of individuals that suffer for various reasons from mental health challenges in our community. So to specifically answer your question, there's a lot of great help available in our countywide system is called Network 180, that has various services available, but to be blunt, oftentimes people don't know how to get those services. And so a lot of times people will just call 911 when there's an individual that's having a mental health crisis. And so we've taken the position that we're going to embrace that. We're going to do everything we can to facilitate getting that help. So we actually have 3 social workers that ride in our police cars with our police officers that will respond out in real time to individuals in mental health crisis. Trinity Hospital has recently opened a mental health drop-in center, which for really most of the rest of the country, if an individual is having some sort of mental health related emergency, the only choice that individuals have is to go to an emergency room if they don't already have a doctor set up. So people will get dropped off in an emergency department and wait maybe for hours to see someone who might not be trained in the right way to help them. So we're very blessed in West Michigan to have that. It's the Mental Health Crisis Center,
Yes.
I believe it's called, at Trinity Health, a 15-bed facility that we know that it's specifically for law enforcement, so whether it's Wyoming or Grand Rapids, that we're able to deliver the individual right there 24/7, and they promise within 15, 20 minutes that they'll start getting treatment right away. So the city, the community has realized that there is a vacuum there for need for services, and the police department's stepping up, the hospitals are stepping up, and we're headed in the right direction.
What would you say about that also, in your opinion?
I think that we're doing everything we can, and as we learn about new things or new places or new community resources, we're partnering with them as often as we can, because we realize that mental health, whether it's for those that are coming into the country or those that have been living with that here in our community for their whole lives, I think that we realize how many of our calls for service we go to each day that have a mental health component. And I think it's really important that we have these 3 social workers. Hopefully we can keep increasing that, because we've definitely seen the benefit of having these, we call them co-response teams on each shift. We've definitely seen the benefit of having those and being able to facilitate a different outcome potentially for those having a mental health crisis.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Someone actually asked me a question, and I wanted to, this is for both of you, maybe. How are lessons from the past incidents applied to improve future responses?
We have an amazing training culture in Grand Rapids. So, it's easy for us to change policy, just to go into the computer and change, this is a policy. But if we're not training our police officers, especially with scenario-based training, we sometimes train with paper, so police officers have to read laws, et cetera. But we have our 3rd floor, and if you come visit, and you are welcome to, we'll give you a tour. The entire 3rd floor is just dedicated to training, and we have training rooms, and we put our officers every 3 months at the most, and we go through mandatory training too. All our officers on a quarterly basis go through mandatory scenario-based training where we put police officers through incidents. And what we'll do is, anytime a big incident happens, our training team looks at it, and fortunately with our body-worn cameras, with in-car cameras, with surveillance video, there's usually a ton of video to go through, and they'll see, what did we do right, what did we do, what can we do better, and then they'll put together training to capture that. Oftentimes it's sitting a critical incident, for example, a shooting where someone's critically injured and the police respond. We'll put together, especially if it's an officer-involved shooting, every individual that's involved in that, and we'll put them in a room, and everyone has to say, what could you have done better? What did you see that went wrong? What did you see that went right? Because we're going to put that in a lesson plan, because we want to always learn from the incidents that we have. We love learning from the things we do right, better from the mistakes, but we recognize that we're not perfect. Additionally, we like to learn from other agencies' mistakes. We'd rather learn from other agencies' mistakes. We hope to never make mistakes, but when there's a large incident that we hear, maybe they're doing something right, maybe they're doing something wrong, but I'll give you a tragic example of the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Is widely seen as something that law enforcement got wrong. And so we do a deep dive into that, see everything that they did wrong, and we adjust our training to make sure that we never make the same mistakes. So we've done, was it Cornerstone University, yes, I believe we went to, and we did active shooter training over and over and over to make sure that we are trained at the best. So it's a training culture. It's something you have to be very intentional about. But as we see things that we can do better, we train it, and we want to be the best at what we do.
What would you say to that?
I would say in addition to the training on a more on a smaller basis or on a daily basis, if there's a big incident that happens on patrol, for instance, the team or those that responded to those incidents will meet directly after that incident as well, and they'll talk about it. Because the last thing that you want to do is to have these questions running through your mind after an incident, and then you have to go and take another call that may be another big or critical incident. So we have great supervisors, patrol supervisors that meet with their teams regularly, so they know when something maybe doesn't feel right or if something could have been done better on a call for service. And it doesn't even have to be a big incident, but having some kind of a debrief after it for the officers involved is very important, because you may run across that incident again, and knowing what you did well and what you wish you'd done different or what you saw could be done different. It's important to talk about that immediately after, and then to go into the training aspect of things too for the department as a whole.
Wow, that's really good. We have 3 more questions, and that will be done. What do you want the African community or the Congolese community or the, let's say, just the people who are immigrants, what do you want them to know about the police officers that do their job? What is the one thing that if you could tell, if you had an opportunity to speak Swahili or to do, and you are able to explain to the Congolese community, to all the refugees that come here, what is your message that you want them to know?
We're all in this together. We are, this is not us against them. We are not here to impose anything on you. We are the police, the Congolese community, the refugee community. We are all community. We are all in this together. And so you're on our team and we're on your team, and we want that trust to be there. And we know we're not perfect. We're always seeking to be perfect and be better. But we're there for you just as much as we're there for each other. We're all in this together.
Gosh, you took that words
No,
right out of my
sorry about
mouth.
that. Yeah.
I was gonna say we're here to serve you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here for you.
Yeah.
You call us, we come to help you.
Yeah.
We want to learn about you and the struggles that you've had, where you come from, because we probably don't have any kind of the struggles that you're bringing with you or the trauma that you're bringing with you. But we're here to serve you and to learn about you, and we want to know those things. Please don't be afraid to talk to any of us. We might have that language barrier, but we'll find a way to communicate so that we can understand one another.
Wow. You kind of answered this kind of question in a little good. I actually like what, but one person asked this question is, how does the department ensure its workforce reflect the community's diversity, recruitment, and retuation?
We're, like the chief mentioned earlier, we're recruiting all the time. We're always hiring. We want to reflect our community, and that means people that speak other languages or come from different backgrounds as well. So we go to a variety of different colleges. Our social media presence is huge. We go to a lot of community events at schools, at churches. We do things like this. We would love to be invited to places that might not normally see a police officer. So if that helps as well, to get somebody to say, oh, I think I want to be a police officer, what can I do? Please invite us, because we would love to come.
I think what you guys are doing is something very incredible. Since I've been here in America, I've never seen a state or a police department that wants to be engaged into their community. We always see police officers as bad. When a police officer tells you to stop, you stop. You scared. You answer them like you're a sergeant, or you're intense in that moment. But what you guys are trying to do is you're trying to relieve that stress out of the individual. I think I'm fair to say that. Well, you want them to trust you guys, like we're here for you. And I think there is bad apples, and a lot of people can say there is bad apples in the police officer, and there's also on our side. I guess in the Congolese community, what can we do to make sure that, I know one of the things that we're doing right now is to show them, to do this live interview, but how can we do better to make your guys' job easier also?
Well, I've been very impressed and very optimistic about the amount of times that, especially since Patrick Lyoya was killed, that we've been, as a department, invited to Congolese events for the community to have conversations about this so that we can share ideas about policing, even if it's just, hey, how do I act when how am I supposed to act when I get pulled over, or questions about the fines, things like that individuals might just not know because they haven't lived in the country for very long. But for us, it's being invited to opportunities, because sadly, historically, a lot of times the only time people would have interactions with police officers are on that traffic stop, or when something terrible happens and the police shows up. So for us to be invited today to come talk to you, to speak at churches, to speak at events, or just to be a part of this, to have those positive community interactions, to meet young people in the Congolese community and the refugee community, so that the first interaction they have with the police is not on a traffic stop or not on some enforcement action. So they see that we're not, Jana and Eric we're not these uniforms. We're Jana and Eric. And so these opportunities are just tremendously important to us.
What would you say, in your opinion?
I think that the interactions that we have with the youth, especially, are important. I think that a lot of times the youth see what their parents feel in every community, whether it be Congolese or immigrant community, and if their parents don't know the answers, they're just relying on the past practice or the past knowledge. So I think that any interaction that we can have ahead of time, ahead of the traffic stops or the response, just so you know where we are coming from as well. And I think I've been amazed over the last few years, especially as I've gotten into different roles, that the sheer amount of community engagement that we do. We have a tremendous community engagement unit, but we also have officers and supervisors and command staff that want to be involved and want to understand, because we've seen that it's not easy for people to come to a new country and to a new city and thrive. And people are coming here because this is a safe community and an exciting community to live in. Like, they've chosen to come here for a reason, and we want to make sure that that they enjoy the life now that they've chosen to have here in Grand Rapids.
Wow. Last question. This is something that's been happening with the new administration, that is Donald Trump, where he's going around picking people and deporting them back to their country. He's using police officers, I guess. Some sources have said that his own government is coming, the government, army, or whatever ICE, I think they're called ICE, whatever they're called. They're coming here and deporting people, those who are criminals and stuff like that. Is that part also of being a police officer also, where if the top government, like the president, makes an order like that, like, I want you guys to go out there to start deporting people, can you explain so you can give our community a peace of mind that you guys are not there to knock on their door and say, hey, show me your documents or we will deport you?
Right.
Give them that peace of mind. Can you?
We have a very different job. So we're not in immigration enforcement. That's not what we do. And literally an individual could walk into the police headquarters and say that they're here against immigration laws, and nothing would be done. There's no. That's just not our role as immigration enforcement. That's a federal government job, and we have a connection with the federal law enforcement in the area, and we work well with them, but they don't ask us to do immigration enforcement, and that's just simply not our role. And we want to make sure that people feel comfortable calling 911 if you're the victim of something, and knowing that we're not going to come and start asking you about your immigration status or things like that, because that would make our job very, very difficult and potentially dangerous for crime victims. So put simply, we're not in immigration enforcement. We don't do it. We have no role. We both been police officers for a very long time, and I can tell you, I have deported 0 people throughout my 25-year career.
Yeah.
It's just not what we do.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
what you guys do. My friends, this is Revival TV. I'm excited for this interview. I've learned a lot. I hope you guys have also learned a lot. If you have any questions about concerning police officers or concerning about what goes on into your community with police officers, please write your questions down. We will take them and we might send you guys the questions, and maybe
Please.
you guys can answer those questions. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Revival TV, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more people know about this, the more we feel like we're making a huge impact. Like I always say, God first, always God first. And I also want to say thank you for you guys coming here. Thank you for taking your time. I know you guys have a busy schedule, but we would love for you guys to come back. I know our viewers would love to come back. I think they've learned a lot from based on what you guys have said on here, and I see that you guys are from the heart. You guys want to help people, and that is the most beautiful thing also. I definitely will take you on that offer. I would like to come and see the Department of Police and all the how you guys do everything like that. It would definitely be awesome, and if okay, I can bring some of my friends also,
Absolutely.
and they can also come up there. But we really thank you. I want to give a thank you to Jennifer, who planned this meeting for us to be together. She's an incredible woman. We will have an interview with her coming really soon. She's not going to run away from me. She's going to be here. A lot of you may not know who Jennifer is, but you will know her next time here on Revival TV. You can't wait. You do not want to miss this. She's the one who's behind everything that's happening here. Thank you. This is Revival TV. I love you guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha pekee.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings or anything?
Sasa mazishi unakuta watu
We're talking about change today, like I said before.
Hapa ni Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Endelee kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
to Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha pekee.
Introvert, extrovert, both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings or anything?
Sasa mazishi unakuta watu
We're talking about change today, like I said before.
Hapa Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Tuendelee kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
To Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.
Chochote ambacho mtu anafanya anajiendesha peke yake.
Introvert, extrovert, and both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings or anything?
Sasa mazishi unakuta watu
We're talking about change today, like I said before.
Hapa ni Revival TV na hii ilikuwa ni couple story. Tuendelee kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
to Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican.